What's going on, guys? We are back, and we're just here to talk about the big roster moves that happened recently, and that has to be said that we're going to talk about Firstkiller. Firstkiller officially joins Gen.G. The Glorious King is now on what was considered the best team in North America last season, and that is still the case. Like, no matter how you perceive it, they were the best team in North America. So apparently Jack and Chronic, they boot Nolly, but honestly, for good reason, picking up Firstkiller here. Once Atomic moved on to Daniel and Beast Mode's team, it kind of left the door open for Firstkiller. There was only one other team he could possibly join, and that would be a Gen.G squad, unless he somehow formed his own team, but that looked very unlikely. So the best part for Gen.G, no buyouts, nothing like that. Firstkiller would be a very expensive player if he had a buyout, but his phase contract did end. Firstkiller was allowed to shop around. So Firstkiller probably got a pretty decent bag from Gen.G, so that's great for him. And honestly, that bag might be even more because they didn't have to buy him out from a phase clan, which would have cost a lot of money for Gen.G. So, like, honestly, because he's a free agent, hopefully at least, he used that to his advantage to actually get more money out of his contract and, just get paid. Just get paid whatever you possibly can in the short careers that we have in esports, right? So, Firstkiller joining Gen.G, absolutely the number one team in NA. On paper, on every power rankings, they should definitely be it. Over the past 2 years, we talked about this a lot, about the Firstkiller MVP race. I personally thought Firstkiller should have won MVP 2 seasons ago, but Atomic won it. And then last season, I thought apparently Jack should have won MVP, but Firstkiller was a clear number 2 there as well. So Firstkiller has been the best player in North America, like, if you span those 2 seasons. To be fair, apparently Jack's only been here for 1, so we'll see how that all plays out. But to get probably, I would say, the best 2 players in North America on the same team, joining up with a Chronic who had a fantastic breakout year last season. This team is a huge threat to Europe. This team is clearly the best team in North America, and it is definitely the best foot forward that we've had in North America in a very long time. To be fair, we do have 2 very strong feet to present to the world now with G2 as well, with Atomic, Beast Mode, and Daniel. But if we're talking about feet picks, Gen.G, clearly the prettier feet, all right? I love where this went. We're going to leave it there. On top of that, that is good news for Gen.G, bad news maybe for the rest of North America. But honestly, no matter what team Firstkiller went to, it was going to be a threat. So if you consolidate power into these top 2 teams, that leaves very likely 3 spots open unless, there's big format changes in North America to go to majors. For now, we'll just say there's probably going to be 5 major spots, right? We don't know for sure, but why not? We'll throw that out there so we can keep the conversation going. There's 3 extra spots in North America that will be played for, and one of those spots might be opening up even more because Furia, they pick up Drufinho from Crew, who was honestly my favorite player to watch last year. I was really enjoying watching him at the majors, and I thought he was going to make some bigger splashes than he did, but who knows? Maybe that was because of his teammates. He's going to be joining a much more high-powered roster in Yan and Lost on Furia to really have Furia be one of the best teams in the world, be back in that conversation at least. They should be a world championship team with that roster. We'll see how it all pans out. But the question is, do they go to North America or do they go back to Sam? And that is a major question right now. I think it's up in the air. It seems like there's conversation around. They did just play in the LATAM Championships, and I believe Furia pretty much handled that pretty easily. I can't remember the exact scores, but I'll try and find it. But this is clearly the best team in Sam, I would say. At this point, they basically just got the best Sam player, and that comes after they took the last best player and lost. And before that, Yan, when he was in Sam, he would be considered the best player there as well. So they basically are just consolidating talent in this South American space. And that is huge. That is absolutely huge. They should be a team that, even if they were in NA, should compete even more for one of those top 5 spots. I would probably say right now I would give them that spot. But if they go back to Sam, they're clear number ones. There's really no other case about it. They played in the LATAM Championships. I did just find it as we were chatting here. 3-0, 3-0. They go to bracket 4-0, 4-3 versus Team Secret, who Team Secret is playing with. Let me just find that here real quick for you. Sad, KV1, and AJG. Who's coming back. So that's going to be another very good team. Those are probably your top 2 teams in South America. And then they take down Ninjas and Pajamas 4-1 in the finals. Ninjas and Pajamas rocking with Astronomic, Swift, and Mata. So there's definitely 3 teams that will challenge for those spots in Sam, and these would probably be those 3. But at the end of the day, Furia, I think, has the edge overall. But the real question is, will they try and take the more likely chance at a World Championship spot in Sam? Probably less prize pools and all that still. Or do they go to North America and get tested more and maybe build up a better squad throughout the year by being challenged by North American teams and just have a little bit of a harder time making it to majors and worlds? And I think that's the major question mark there. Maybe they feel like they don't need that experience in North America. They tried that for a year, and the experiment kind of failed because they didn't make World Championship. Maybe they feel like they don't need it. Maybe it doesn't better them as a team. So maybe they will return to South America. Now, for all North American players, I guarantee you, they're probably like, Furia, please go back to South America. We want another spot opened up for a North American team to make some waves, right? To go to majors, to go to a World Championship, because Furia, while not guaranteed the slot, it would make it a lot more competitive. So we already know that G2 and Gen.G are definitely 2 locks, right? They are definitely top 2 in NA, or at least they'll probably make every major. They might, have a bad tournament here or there and fall down a bit, but they feel like almost locks for a major and a World Championship, barring some weird things. Then after that, you have like teams like Complexity, teams like teams like Space Station, I should say. So we'll see how that all plays out of like who will take those other spots. Obviously, teams are still trying to form. Right now, there's been no word on Space Station trying to change anything. But if you look at the rankings from last year, and we look at North America, we had Gen.G, who obviously made a move to consolidate power and move up a little bit. FaZe Clan, who's completely gone. Mist and Sip, we'll see what happens there. Mist recently tried out for Complexity. I'm not sure if it was a real tryout or they just needed someone to play with for the draw. And they made it to the finals, but they did lose to the new G2 squad, which is Atomic, Daniel, and Beast Mode. So that consolidates some teams there. But then like Chicago and JNAPS, where do they go? What type of team do they form? You have Magic Bear and Reddles. Are they going to form a team? Calm is still out there. Energy is still out there trying to form some teams. So the Dignitas squad, they're still out there. They made a major last season. So a lot of teams up in the air. We got Shopify as well. Parth and Two-Piece. Like, they should be one of the top 5 teams, probably for sure, or at least be in the running. Like, whoever they get is going to be a contender. So we have like 2 teams at the top. And then if Furia leaves, that opens up that door just a bit more for, I would say, a Complexity, a Space Station, whatever team comes out of Calm, Reddles, Magic Bear, and all those players, and AJ was in that mix. So that's like honestly almost 2 teams right there. So that's already 4. Then you have, so we had Complexity, we have Space Station, and then those 2 teams of all these free agents. Then you got Shopify with Two-Piece and Parth. That's 5 teams already contending. Then you got Energy players, Garrett G and Justin. 6 teams now competing for spots like that. So that's at least 6 high-quality teams that will compete very likely for 3 spots. So if Furia is part of that mix. That's a 7th team that will have to compete for one of those major spots. And maybe Furia is like, I'd rather compete with only probably 2 other teams in SAM, maybe 3. So we'll see how that all pans out for them. But it feels like the North American experiment failed. Now, do they try it again? Do they think that it will better them in the long run? Or do they think, that long-term gain is not necessarily worth it. We'd rather take our short-term gains as we can. And this dials back to Firstkiller. Make the money where you can, right? But if Furia, I'm not sure how their contracts work. Maybe they had really inflated contracts in North America. And if they go back to SAM, do those contracts go back down? I would doubt it at this point, but honestly, I'm not really sure. So see how it all plays out. All I know is I want all these players to make as much money as they possibly can while they can. So whatever makes them a ton of money, and hopefully they can have fun while playing Rocket League as well. That's always a plus. But make the bag while you can. And that's it. Those are the 2 big moves. There's some moves in OCE, but it's OCE. We'll talk about them in a future video. But that'll do it for me. And thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think about these teams in the comments below. Should Furia go back to SAM? Should they go to NA? Should they go to APAC? Let me know. But that'll do it. We'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.